This podcast is proudly sponsored by Soultone Cymbals. Soultone Cymbals are located in Los Angeles, California. Handcrafted, manufactured in Turkey. These cymbals are durable, they sound amazing, they're made perfect. So please, go check out Soultone Cymbals and give them some support. Soultone Cymbals, proudly sponsoring Loud, an alternative music podcast.
Soultone Cymbals is looking for drummers to add to their roster of endorsers. Click here to apply and get started now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Loud, an alternative music podcast. This is episode 3. I am your host, Tomye West. This is my co-host, Codey O'Connor. And this is my co-host, Laura Jane.
Hello.
How are we all today?
I'm keen for the footy.
I'm good.
Of course you are, you sports nerd.
Yep. It's going to be good.
Yeah? What else has been happening? What have you been doing during the week?
I was sleeping.
Sleeping.
Oh, I got vaxxed this week.
Yeah, I got vaccinated too. Who'd you go with? Who's your poison?
The one that makes you better.
The one that makes you better.
Yeah.
Pfizer or what?
I
had to go all the way to Northside Melbourne because I booked it in and didn't want to wait 4 or 5 weeks to get Pfizer.
Yeah, so you got the same as me, the 60-year-old one.
Is it called AstraZeneca?
Yeah.
So, Laura, you got Astra, did you?
Yeah, well, I got the one for old people.
Gotcha.
Because I couldn't be.
I got Pfizer.
I just said, like, you know, I put worse in my body, so I'm right.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I said.
Like Dan said a couple episodes ago, it's the same stuff.
I don't think we should talk about, I just don't think we should talk about COVID.
Well, so we have to.
No, I know, but like it caused such a fucking riff at like.
We can talk about me sleeping a bit more.
Hey, look, we're just talking about what we do.
7-hour session.
We're not talking about it in a way that's the thing. That's the difference. We can avoid it, or we can talk about it in a smart way, which is we can get it and we can talk about what we're doing, but we're not telling other people what they should and shouldn't do with their body. They can make those decisions for themselves. This is just the decisions we made, and if people can respect that and listen to our point and listen to us just talk about our stuff, then that's fine with me, you know. Like, if people don't want to listen, that's on them too, you know. That's the choice they have to make. So, you know, I think it's important that we do talk about it because it's going on in the world, and it's something we shouldn't
ignore so badly and be like, no, if you get vaxxed, you can't listen.
I mean, it is also impacting the music industry in a really big way, which means that it's something we should touch on because we do touch on music. That's our whole podcast. So we got to talk about what is going on in the industry and what steps are coming forward to be able to make sure that we can go to these shows and stuff for these bands that we love, you know. So
yeah,
it's when talking about it, we should talk about it in a responsible way if we're going to talk about it, and that's what we're talking about, which is we did what we have to do or chose to do with our bodies, and you guys do what you guys want to do with your bodies. It's not up to us. So
I did it so I can play music shows and go work again because inevitably to be able to work, it's going to have to happen. Anyway, what's been going on in the news?
That's exactly what I was saying, man, is that it's for the good of the band and the shows and for the future. So let's just, do it and do what we got to do. So, I thought I'd bring up just a few news items today. Nothing really major. We've got this was going to be story number 2. I'll bring it in as story number 1 just because we've already got it ready to go. And that's, Ronnie Radke versus a Heckler. Very interesting footage. It's just sort of a bit of extra news. I just think it's funny. I wanted to just highlight that I think it's funny.
Pretty much.
And, I'll actually bring in some footage. This footage is courtesy of...
This guy with a front line racking shirt. I noticed that he saw me and then he pulled it down.
This is courtesy of Justin Cruz on YouTube.
This is not good.
The drummer.
Listen, man. I got my 8-year-old daughter standing right there, bro. She's standing right there, bro. What are you doing?
You say his daughter's sitting side stage.
Everybody
Yeah.
their stuff, man. Disrespectful. What's the problem? You got a problem with me? What's the problem? I don't know who you are. I'm a piece of shit. You don't even know me, homie. You don't know me. You're a bitch. Fuck your neighborhood.
I appreciate what he's doing, like outside of being Ronnie Radke and whatever, just like having the balls to stand up to someone and be like, fucking bring it, you know, like people are so quick to do stuff like that online and whatnot. So like, yeah.
If I was in his position, man, I wouldn't have attacked it like that though. I would have acknowledged the shirt, made my own version of the shirt, and sold it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Ronnie Radke shirt. Make your money off it. It's a news point that people are talking about. So capitalize off that moment and make some shirts. Fuck it.
Here's a question. Do you reckon if he was to like start going off and whatever, then it would be a bad reflection of like the band itself?
See, I just think that when you're in a position like he is, you should sometimes rise above those things and just forget about it. Like he's the one dude in the crowd wearing that homemade shitty T-shirt out of the how many thousands of people that are there to actually see you because they want to see you and they love you. You know what I mean?
It's a good take.
Playing a big festival like that as well, you're going to have people that are watching you that don't want to see you, but they're watching you because they've got time to kill between other bands and stuff like that. So you kind of just got to take what you get when you come to those festivals. And I mean, I'm not saying he handled it wrong. I'm not saying he handled it right. I just thought it was an interesting piece of news that we could touch on and kind of view together.
Yeah.
If you want to watch the whole thing, go over to YouTube. Watch it on YouTube. I don't want to get us, monetized or copyright infringement bullshit.
I don't have any message or whatever. I just think like if someone fucking came to a show that I was playing and like showed me a shirt that was like, fuck this person personally, for a second I'd be like, I would probably respond the exact same way. I'd be like, dude, you didn't even know me. Like, what the hell? It's hard because like in that public presence is the frontman for a band or whatever. But I guess the point is, if the guy chooses to wear a shirt calling him out personally, then he sort of has a right to respond personally back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it you can, as you said before, the whole band, like, does it reflect on the whole band? Yes, because the drummer
probably would, yeah.
The drummer was making.
They were also, if you see footage of the band next to him, like on the video screens, they were all laughing and kind of like being a part of it. If it was Limp Bizkit playing a festival, that's all they really do now is play festivals. They don't really play their own shows. So if Limp Bizkit were to go after every cunt in the crowd going, fuck Limp Bizkit, that is going to be their whole show, every festival, every tour, you know what I mean? Especially someone like Ronnie Radke with that clout behind him and he's like known past for being controversial. I just thought that he'd be used to shit like that by now and kind of be above it.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have shit to prove.
It's a really interesting point. And like whenever we talk about stuff like this, I like on this show, I try and always take away like my personal view of it. And I guess I just listen to the conversation and try and bring up topics that people may not have thought about. And like, who's more at fault? Is Ronnie more at fault for going off at the guy, or is him more at fault for going out of his way and buying a ticket to go to a show just to be able to do that? But
then again, as I said, it's a festival, man. So he was there probably to see many other bands on the lineup. That's
a good point as well. That's also a really good point.
He's like, it was really unprofessional, really. I don't want to be the downer. I would have probably done the same thing because I am like him, but at the same time, that's what's going around on YouTube and stuff right now. It's not going to look good on him.
It doesn't look good.
I agree.
And everything is scrutinized. Everything is these days, like, you can't say or do anything without someone saying something. And they're going to be like, well, who cares about your 8-year-old daughter because you're swearing and all that sort of stuff in front of her anyway.
That's another good point of conversation as well, yeah.
I mean, as I said, I just think that Ronnie's been around that stuff so much in the past that it's just like, you don't need to prove it anymore. You've done all of it. We know you've been to prison. We know all this stuff. Like, just let it go now. Like, but I love Ronnie Radke. I love Falling in Reverse. It doesn't really tarnish my thought on them. It's more what I've seen the public comments being on, like, the articles and stuff on Facebook and that, like, the commenters are being like, I don't know who the fuck this guy is, but grow some thicker skin, or I don't know who the fuck this guy even is. Now I've discovered them, listened to them, and they're pretty trash. You know what I mean? So this is just giving people that don't know your band cannon fodder to throw at you because they think what you just said doesn't, like, if you know Ronnie and you know Falling in Reverse, you know that that's probably what his reaction is going to be, so it doesn't shock you. But to outsiders who don't know your band, that's going to be the first thing that they see, and it's going to reflect badly. And I've seen that happen, which is like the people have gone, this is stupid. Who the fuck does this guy think he is? His band is trash too. I just checked him out. And that's kind of where it like goes, well, you should rise above it because it doesn't look good publicly for you, to your fans or to your outsiders. You know what I mean? So
Interesting
kind
take.
of covers that.
I feel like with, you know, the internet, like it's just given people more of a bullying platform.
It's not just the internet, it's the day and age as well. Like,
Fucked. Like you can't
the
say
internet was around for a long time before this all became just another day at the office, like, which is what the internet is now. You know, like if you're going to put something up, be prepared to have it shit on. That's why I don't take notice of anything negative about this podcast and stuff, because the people that are going to hate on it are going to hate on it. And I say, whatever, like I can't stop that. Dislike it, like it. I'm going to keep going and keep doing it because I think it's fun and I want to do it. So, and the other one we should touch on, which is another beef in the industry right now, which is Machine Gun Kelly versus Corey Taylor, Slipknot, but it's mainly Corey Taylor. Did you guys see any of this?
I actually
The headline.
I didn't see. Yeah, no, I didn't see it. I didn't see it, but I was listening to Machine Gun Kelly before, and my chair keeps going down.
Well, I'm just going to take a bit of an article from reported by Jessica Bennett over at page6.com.
Yeah.
Machine Gun Kelly has doubled down on his distaste for 90s metalheads, Slipknot, claiming a shady move from frontman Corey Taylor led to his verbal lashing of the band during Sunday's Riot Fest in Chicago. Corey did a verse for a song on my Tickets to My Downfall album. It was fucking terrible, so I didn't use it, Machine Gun Kelly tweeted Tuesday afternoon. He got mad about it and talked shit to a magazine about the same album he was almost on. Y'all's stories are all off. Just admit he's better. And then Taylor responded via Twitter, sharing messages back and forth in January, saying he did confirm that the pair have worked on a song together, but couldn't see eye to eye on the artistic direction of the track, choosing instead to back away from the feature. And now they're kind of like publicly going at it. Machine Gun Kelly's basically said, at least I'm not 51 years old wearing some shitty mask or costume. And then it was funny. I saw someone put up something the other day, like Machine Gun Kelly with that quote saying, at least I'm not 51 years old and wearing some shitty-ass mask. Then it cuts to, then it says Machine Gun Kelly now, and it's him with like the long girl fingernails and like weird long hair and shit like that he's done in photos, which I thought was really funny. But I just thought this was interesting as well because it's more beef in the industry.
It just shows how fame and money can get to your head. And they would have made an amazing fucking performance or a song or whatever, but they're just too cocky. I bet it's too Aries or something like that. But just think they're too good now. Like, put your shit aside and like do it for the fans and the people that have made you.
But I don't know if anyone wants that. You know, I don't think Slipknot's fans really want
the MGK didn't want it. So fucking
I don't think Machine Gun Kelly fans really want Corey Taylor to be in his songs because, I mean, they are just complete different ends of the spectrum. I mean, no one's saying they don't want it, but there was also no, like, demand for this to happen. Like, Slipknot aren't going, you know what this song needs? Machine Gun Kelly. Like, and Machine Gun Kelly fans aren't going, you know what this needs? Corey Taylor from Slipknot. Like, it's just such a weird balance. So to me, it's just kind of like, they tried something, it didn't work. Probably was never going to work with those two because they're just so different.
I agree with what Laura said. It probably comes down to their egos and stuff. Like the idea of it sounds great. Like it's trying to sell a boxing match or some shit. Like 2 headliners or whatever. So like you get Corey Taylor on a song, hell yeah. And then he gets there and you do the thing and it doesn't turn out like you wanted. MGK is putting out an album himself. He invited Corey Taylor onto it. It's totally within his rights to be like, I don't want him on the track. And it's surprising, honestly. It honestly surprises me as a young, naive musician to see a 51-year-old fucking having beef with MGK. It kind of makes you wonder where it started. I'm surprised they couldn't just, as musicians, recognize that they came together and it didn't work. You know, that doesn't mean I fucking hate you. It's just they grew up in such different musical eras, probably have so many different influences.
Let's just not pretend, though. Everyone's like, oh, Machine Gun Kelly's so childish and all that. Look, let's look at it from both spectrums. If you look at Corey Taylor, he's always been someone in podcasts, like I watched him in Steve-O's podcast and things like that, to shit on people that he doesn't like. So he does the exact same thing that Machine Gun Kelly does.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that, I like Slipknot too. I like Machine Gun Kelly. I like Machine Gun Kelly's rap stuff. I like Machine Gun Kelly's newer stuff, pop punk stuff with Travis Barker. I like Slipknot's older stuff more than their new stuff, but that's beside the point. It's just that they're two. I just think that it was never probably going to work with them because Corey Taylor writes just so differently. And even when Corey Taylor writes something like sort of mainstreamy pop punky sounding, it's still not what would fit with Machine Gun Kelly, in my opinion.
Which is it's funny, like real quick, I don't know much about it, but like didn't Tom Morello put out a song with Bring Me the Horizon the other day or something? And it's like,
that's insane, bro, but that's interesting.
If you want, have a quick Google now. Bring Me the Horizon brought out a song with. You
should change the Rodney. Oh no, yeah, the Rodney Radke thing.
Oh yeah. We're new to this.
I keep forgetting we're filming, and then I'm like,
"We're new in here, you know." Bring Me the Horizon, Tom. It looks like you're correct because it came up straight away. New Tom Morello song featuring Bring Me the Horizon. So technically, it's a Tom Morello song featuring Bring Me the Horizon, not Bring Me the Horizon featuring Tom Morello.
I haven't listened to it. Apparently, it's a banger.
It's called Let's Get the Party Started. Cool. Well, that's something for people to go check out because I had no idea about it. So thank you for bringing that up, Cody. There was something else you wanted to talk about as well, which was announced last night, yeah?
Oh, yeah, just quickly. I don't know if you guys know the Red Hot Chili Peppers. They announced a world tour starting in June 2022.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
That was sick.
I'm glad for all the Red Hot Chili Peppers fans, but I'm just not a fan, Mo. Like, I'm just not a fan.
They've risen to the point in it's like any massive rock band doing a world tour for me. Like, just the fact they're able to, after not playing for however long, and just be like, yo, better do a world tour.
I think some of the stuff off California was okay, but is it California?
Californication was one of their songs.
Yeah, that was the song.
I don't know, like that. How long? You know that song.
That was other songs.
Iconic. You can't like.
Yeah, but they're iconic.
Like you can't appreciate.
Iconic as every other iconic band out there. I don't like the Foo Fighters that very much, but I think the Foo Fighters are great. I'm just not into them that much. You know what I mean? So if they were to announce a tour, I'd just be like, yeah, cool, man. Like, but
I'd be glad for the Foo Fighters tour.
Man. You know, tickets to Red Hot Chili Peppers are going to be pricey, man.
Yeah, well.
What price do you reckon though you're looking at for Red Hot Chili Peppers? I reckon at least $130.
Yeah, I'd say so. I've got no idea, to be honest.
And that's for worse seats too. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Anyway, we'll move on to the next topic, which is Under Oath's new song. It wouldn't be an episode allowed without Tomye bringing up the old Under Oath. Now, I follow Under Oath quite a lot.
I mentioned that before, Laura.
Yeah. They're still my favorite band. As much as like they're not like king of my playlists right now, and they never always are. Like it's just I'll listen to them sporadically a bit now.
Well,
Yeah,
and obviously because we are talking about them, they're still actively doing stuff. Like they had those
their new
live
album.
streams, like you were saying. They've got this new song out that you're going to tell us about.
Yeah, it's called Pneumonia, from what I can tell. It's 7 minutes fucking long, which is crazy. And
7 minutes long.
I feel like they were going for what their song "To Whom It May Concern" does on "Define the Great Line," which is that 7 minute song that's like slow, churchy choir stuff, and then it breaks into the heavy bit and ends with the choir. I feel like that's kind of what they were attempting with this new 7 minute song, but I just don't feel like it reaches those heights because it never goes really heavy, and it kind of always stays the same pace of softness. It's not a bad song. It's just very progressive rock and 7 minutes, and just not what I expected from them after they released Damn Excuses and Hallelujah, which are just two amazing fucking banger songs. And I actually just watched them perform Hallelujah at Blue, that same festival that Under Oath, Falling in Reverse were playing. And I'll quickly bring up a little bit of it if I can, just to show you.
So is there a bunch more ambient sound in this song? Is it why you feel like it, like, how much of the song's instrumentals and then how much of it is actually the band? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I'm bringing this up now. Here you go.
But I expect you to jump with me. Can you jump with me? This one's called Hallelujah. We're gonna jump, 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 jump.
I reckon it sounds really, really good. I just thought I'd bring it up quickly to show you. I thought they sounded really good on there. That's their first show in 653 days, I believe. So it's good to see music making a comeback, man. Like, that's what I really am happy about. And speaking of music making a comeback, thank you for that segue, Tomye. It is Night and Day Festival. We can talk about that. Sorry, I never get segues, yeah? Ever. Like, that was just perfect, man, because I'm talking about music coming back. We got our first music festival to talk about now that we know this. What do you think of the festival lineup? Huh?
Didn't we just?
No, we talked about the festival being announced. We didn't talk about the lineup yet.
Sorry. Sorry.
And
my bad.
we did talk a lot about, which I don't think you were on the episode for, you might have. Yeah, you were on the episode. We were talking about if we weren't sure if Amity Affliction still had staying power and all that. Oh, no, you weren't on the episode. You heard us talking about it the week after. Yeah, so we were talking about, like, if Amity Affliction have headlining power still for Unified Festival next year. And we were in that conversation, me and Codey were talking about how if, like, Polaris was on it and then someone else, it would probably be a better lineup in our opinion. And then this got announced with the lineup, and it's Parkway Drive, Polaris. Do you know the rest of the other lineup without me having to skip through things?
I don't know too many other bands on it, honestly. They're the main headliners that are going to sell the tickets.
And to be honest, that to me, and everyone was giving me shit. Not everyone, but a fair few people chimed in and said, "Look, Amity Affliction are huge. They're like one of the biggest bands in the country. What are you talking about? Of course they have staying power." And
yeah, like we were never questioning that.
We were never questioning that. That's what we want to get. That's what we want to get forward. Is that we were just asking if they still were as big as they once were, like at their height. Like, are they still that big?
Okay, it was a failed clickbait title. There you go.
Yeah, and like
from our mistakes. I'm just kidding.
It wasn't meant to bag them. It wasn't trying to say they're not powerful, they're not strong, they're not as powerful as they once were. We were just questioning if it was a good lineup, and I was putting in my 2 cents that I didn't know if Amity Affliction was still relevant enough to be that high up on the list without someone backing them up.
Which, if we stirred you guys enough to message Tomye and say that they are, well, then we kind of did our job anyway.
Who did?
Some people commented on the video and were like, "Oh, dude, Amity Affliction are like the second biggest band in Australia," and they definitely are.
Which
and
is
I was
great.
like,
that's the exact response.
And for some reason, if you're watching this and you commented on it, and you can't see your comment, We don't know why either. We didn't delete it. We didn't say you couldn't comment on it. It's just not there. I can see the notification. I can read it, but I can't. When I go into it, the comment's not there. So don't think we're deleting comments, everybody. Go, Laura.
Well, like I don't know. It's just like as soon as you start at one, then we'll just go down the row and just like everyone who's comments on something and we're going to say something. No,
but we wanted to.
No.
I felt like after we talked about it, that maybe we did not come across with our message like properly, which was that we love the Amity Affliction. We think they're an amazing band. We just didn't follow them. We don't follow them as much as we did with Youngbloods and their Chasing Ghosts albums. So we were kind of out of the loop as to where they kind of stood on the totem pole. And that was the message behind that video. So I apologize if anyone thought we were shitting on the band or whatever, because that wasn't the case.
They're pretty much up here at the moment. Yeah. So we know now.
I mean, you said that they were the only band on the lineup. They were the only band on the lineups that you really knew of, Codey. But that's not true because Hellions is on it. You love Hellions?
Yeah, absolutely. With my edit, I tried to show footage and stuff of Amity over the years, and yeah, like I don't think we need to say it too much. But yeah, I was never shitting on them. The Youngbloods is number 2, my all-time, if you look at our other video, I think. I remember when they came through Gladstone and stuff years and years ago. It actually sucks. I was in boarding school and I caught the train back to Gladstone to watch them, and the show was scheduled for a Saturday night, and then they got held up or something, so the show moved to Sunday night, and I had to get on the train to go back to boarding school, like literally whilst they were playing because they rescheduled. I was like, it sucks. But my dad knew the guy that put on the show because it's a really small town. The guy that put on the show worked for my dad, but I got to go along and I got given a shirt and I got to watch them do a few warm-up songs and stuff. So they'll, Amity is sweet. They'll always have a place in my heart. And they're from Queensland as well. I'm a Queenslander. Like, they're one of the best bands to come out of Queensland for sure.
Yeah, well, so, no, they're awesome, man. But, so, like, Hellions are on the lineup as well. And you love Hellions. Hey, Barney. Hey.
Barney loves Hellions as well.
Barney.
Yeah.
Hey, Barney.
He's not going to listen to you, Tom.
Sorry about my fucking dog. Anyway, so Hellions are on it. The Getaway Plan are on it, which I was pretty.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was pretty impressed to see that. But the only beef I have with that is the album they're playing, because they're playing from start to finish, Other Voices, Other Rooms in full. Which I'm not saying that they won't play some like encore songs of like older stuff, but if I was going to go see the Getaway Plan now, I'd want to see them play stuff of
They won't.
Whole Conversation.
Where the City Meets the Sea will be their encore, and they'll play everything on that album, and then
if they play Straight Light, I'd be happy, man.
They won't. There's maybe, but like Hellions are playing Opera Oblivia in full, and I doubt they're going to play anything off any other album.
Trophy Eyes are playing, and Void of Vision, and Wind Waker. I'm just mentioning the bands I know off my head. Oh, here we go again, and my dog's going to bark again.
So it's night and day. What's the logistics of the festival? Like, because Unified is like, over 2 or 3 days? You camp out and stuff like that. So do you know much about what night and day looks like?
Thursday, 30th of December. And Friday, the 31st of December.
Yeah, so they've got like camping grounds next to the castle and stuff as well.
Yeah, so it's New Year's Eve, obviously.
Great New Year's party, absolutely.
They've actually put up the venue map on the internet.
I saw Polaris post about it recently, and they had so many like castle memes, and they're like, we're just going to keep posting like all these stupid castle comments. We've got like 3 months of them worked up, so pretty much every post leading up Polaris is going to drop a stupid castle meme. That wraps up pretty much all the news I wanted to talk about. I'm sure there's more out there that people are like, well, why didn't they bring this up? And it's because, to be honest, I've been a bit out of it lately, a bit out of the loop the last week. We've had a lot going on out with our band personally.
doing stuff to get ready for our band. We've had
mate, sorry to cut you off. My mate Jake Daly just messaged me. I've been chatting with him on Facebook recently. I went to school with him ages ago, and he hasn't messaged me in maybe 6 months or so. And it's funny because we used to swap music and stuff like that. I know on this episode later on we talk a bit about Spirit Box and whatever, and I don't know much about them. Tom, you just posted a thing about them. Apparently they're making a lot of noise. It's like, yeah, new Spirit Box goes hard. So
yeah, well,
we're going to go check out Spirit Box just quick.
Yeah, it was weird, man, because when we had Ben Rogers on from The Last Martyr, he talked about Spirit Box and how much he loves them.
Yeah.
And I was like, I haven't heard of them. And since then, I have not stopped hearing about them. Anyway, this episode's really cool because we just recently have started getting some press details and stuff, and getting some interviews with some bands doing press runs at the moment and things like that, which is really cool. And we had a cool guest on, which we talked to him Tuesday earlier this week. So it was recorded a bit earlier to this episode being recorded, but it's a part of this episode. How'd you think it went, man?
I was in a dark park and my audio sounded shit.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
He is a cool, humble soul. Like, he is just so chilled, and thinking, you're in a band that has such big followers, sometimes people do get big heads, but he is so kind, so lovely. And yeah, he's just like, they're such a good band. And he is a really talented vocalist, and claps to them. Like, it was awesome, and we're so grateful to have them on.
Yeah, well, it was good of him to make some time. It's not a super long interview. It's not super, in depth, but it's a cool little conversation, and we really hope you enjoy it.
They're bringing out new music as well, so make sure you.
Yeah, well, we'll have all the links in the descriptions. I throw up a few links during the interview as well. I hope you all enjoy it. And here's that interview. So here we are with a really cool dude. His name's Tom. He's from the band Patient 67, and we just wanted to get him on and have a chat. How you going, Tom?
I'm doing very well, thanks, mate. Thank you guys so much for having me here. It's going to be fun.
You mentioned you just finished work. Where are you working at the moment?
I work for the Department of Health, so as you can imagine, really quiet at the moment, not much happening.
Very quiet.
So it keeps me pretty busy.
I can imagine, dude. Far out. Wow.
Crazy.
And how have you been dealing through the COVID stuff? Like, I know Western Australia is not as strict as where the rest of the country is, but just wanted to say, how you been dealing with it?
Yeah, it's been all right over here, to be honest. I mean, honestly, it's sort of been a two-sided coin, because on one hand, we've sort of had the flexibility to play shows, save for a few snap lockdowns, but on the other hand, it's been such a tough sort of period, because we've been so desperate to get over to the East Coast for a while now, and it hasn't really had the chance to eventuate yet, obviously, with lockdowns across the country. So very fortunate to be here, but obviously excited to have shows back in full swing, hopefully not too far away.
For sure.
Awesome,
Sorry to bring it up straight away. We had some hectic shit happen here today in Melbourne, so I guess it's all fresh in our minds. It would be awesome if you guys were able to get over here soon. Tom got vaccinated today. I'm going out to get vaxxed tomorrow. So yeah, we'll all just get in and do what we need to do to get it done. Anyway,
I saw on your.
I'm going to stay back a bit, bro. So Codey's having a few mic issues, so we're making sure he stays back so it doesn't crunch like that.
Yeah.
The joys of internet.
Congratulations on your Spotify hit.
Thank you.
All your followers. That's amazing.
Thank you.
How do you feel about it?
It's definitely humbling. I mean, like I said at the time, when it all kind of sort of seeing the numbers and stuff like that, like, it's just one part of it. But I guess without shows and stuff like that, it's just been one thing to sort of lean on. And I guess people are still very keen on music. I know that with live stuff not being as prevalent, it's still really cool to see people supporting like heavier bands and it's been a journey over a number of years for us. So it's kind of cool to see things, I guess, building in the right direction, So very, very happy.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And when your new single just came out, didn't it? It was at the end of August, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Damage Plan came out at the end of August. So just been seeing the response to that, which has been really good. Having people reach out, say they're enjoying it. It's a bit more of a heavier side for us, to be honest. So it's been good. It's been a lot of fun. Can't wait to play it live.
Yeah, if you don't mind me asking, what's behind like the lyrics and like this new sort of vibe you've got?
Yeah, no worries, Laura. So pretty much the song was written kind of about, I guess it can be interpreted in a number of different ways, but from my sort of standpoint, it was just about honing in on, I guess, toxic relationships, toxic, vices, things that kind of hold you back and kind of hold you kind of at their mercy, in a sense that like they're really like keeping you from being your best self. And the song essentially is really just about saying that you're kind of making a choice or like an effort to kind of move on from those things and like really sort of distance yourself and make a choice for like a better life. So I guess the song's kind of we sort of wanted to capture some of the desperation in that process and just saying like, fuck this, pretty much. Like I've had enough with it and I'm going to fight for like something better. So it kind of had a process over the time of writing the song where it sort of shifted into being a bit more heavier and kind of developed that, I guess the chorus just kind of fell into place at the end. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, we can all relate to that in some way as well, because we've all had struggles, or we've all had to make choices to better ourselves at some point. Well, I know I have. I know Laura's had to do the same, and I know Codey's also had to do the same. So most people can relate to that as a person, which is good. You always got to write stuff that people can relate to. So.
And it's cool that you can write it and like sing it. I wish I could sing. And scream it as well, which is amazing. You're very, very talented.
Interesting how you mentioned that the chorus on Damage Plan just sort of like fell into place. I was having a listen to some of the stuff you guys have done today, and I like the chorus on that song because it's really crisp and simple and memorable. It seems like in my quick listening to you guys, like a refined culmination of what you guys have been doing over the years. I noticed, like, I guess back in the day, there was a lot more like cleans and stuff like that. There still is now, but they're also more refined. So what's the writing process like, and how have you guys sort of evolved over the years? I know that's a big question. But...
No, it's a great question, Codey. Pretty much you nailed it. I mean, we've kind of gone through different iterations of the band in the sense that like we have sort of tried to experiment and try new things over the journey. Look to, I guess, obviously we are a heavy band at heart, right? But we want to find ways to keep it interesting and keep people who come back for more, which is something we're really, really ecstatic about. Give them something new, like in the mix as well, while still kind of refining and retaining our sound that we love and the bands that we love to listen to and things like that. So the process is definitely quite. It really depends on the song, but on this occasion, it was really just a demo that our guitarist Rory had written, and we just like pretty much ripped it apart bit by bit and found the sort of the most redeeming qualities and sort of structured it up in a way where it could flow really nicely and it could have that chorus that fell in at the end, but it very much was we wanted to create something that was kind of like anthem-like in the sense that like anyone, we could all sing along to it and kind of make it, simple and clean and powerful. And not all our songs are like that. Like I said, it really just depends on the song and kind of what we need to do. And my role as a vocalist in that can vary. Sometimes I have lyric ideas up front and I'll bring those in and have those ready to go. Other times I'll hear a demo from the guys and sort of vibe off that. So we try to mix it up so that way you don't have to rely on like one way of doing things,
How good is it being in a band, being able to do that? It's awesome.
Yeah, it's not without its challenges, but I've worked with, Declan and Rory. Those guys have been bandmates of mine for going on 5 years now. We sort of have a groove at this point, so we all know kind of each other's strengths and weaknesses. I think that's really important as a band. That's why we're able to keep releasing music and do it consistently, because we all know I guess, each other's ins and outs. We can play to each other's strengths and make things sort of work.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. And how long you guys been like officially a band, like this band?
It's a great question. You know,
I'm sure you probably had more before this. I don't know you though. Maybe this is your first go, but I'm sure you probably had many tries. How long? Yeah, but with this project, how long specifically you reckon?
I love the question, Tom, and the reason I say that is because this is actually my first band. Yeah, so I haven't. I mean, I like in high school and stuff like that was like messing around, playing music with friends and stuff. But this is my first proper project, and ultimately, the band's been around since like 2015, I want to say, and it really has been a bit of a slow build over the first few years. We were just playing, tiny local shows, kind of figuring out. I mean, every mistake in the book you can make with doing a band, I've probably made it. And I think that's a lesson like to people in the sense that like things don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get it right away. And I think we're definitely seeing more and more bands pop up that are, ex-members of this popular local band or popular national band. And that's all cool. But what I really love about Patient is that we've kind of been really organic. Like we've just kept it going because we love it. And it's just kind of evolved over time, So I've learned it all in this band, good and bad.
Yeah, nice.
That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, me and Codey are in a band currently, but we're getting ready to launch soon. I've been in the music industry, like doing music since like 2005. So it's
Tom's old.
It's been a very slow burn for me. I've done 3 bands beforehand as well, but so I know exactly what it's like playing smaller shows and building yourselves up. And we got pretty big at one point, so like I can relate to how much work goes into trying to build up that many followers, that many fans. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, for sure, dude. It's definitely a grind.
Definitely.
But when you come down, like if you come to Melbourne, you have a massive show. Like it will be. It will be. It will be huge.
I think it could be really good, like to gauge. I mean, for me, like just being able to get over there and play. Like I love Melbourne so much. Like growing up, in the AFL, I'm a big St Kilda footy fan, so I've loved going to Melbourne when I was growing up and seeing the footy. And I've even flown over to Melbourne to see bands before as well. So to have the chance to play any show, whether it's with 10 people or more, it would be amazing. And I guess the only thing we're really waiting on is obviously the borders to open. And maybe a band would want to bring us along so we can kind of play with a band that suits us and share the stage. I mean, there's so many great bands over on the East Coast. We're sort of spoiled for choice, aren't we, in Australia? So
there's a lot.
So many.
There's a lot in Western Australia too, bro. Like even when I was coming up, there was a lot of bands that were like just from Western Australia that, they came here and made friends with a few bands that I was friends with, and they'd come here often, and then our friends' bands would go over there and play over there with them. There's a good music scene all around Australia, man. Like everywhere. So.
I remember growing up hearing Make Them Suffer and like Saviour, bands you'd know probably pretty well, Tom, being from Perth. And like you would have gone to their shows when they were just playing.
We are Emergency.
Oh, dude, Wait, always love Wait.
We are Emergency. I think that's the ones. That's a band that I used to know pretty well from Western Australia. I don't know if they're still going or not, actually, but yeah.
They disbanded, and I think they played a farewell show. It was like probably 4 or 5 years ago, Tom, and it was like one of the biggest like local shows I think ever in the history of Perth.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely been some great ones. Definitely We Are the Emergency included, like you said, Codey, like Make Them Suffer, Saviour, and they've definitely paved the way for to show that heavier bands from Perth can make real noise, which I think is really really cool.
Yeah, definitely. And what do you got coming up? What are your futures plans for the next couple of months?
Oh, look, I mean, at the moment, it's. I mean, we've got more music that we've been working really hard on in the background. So we're going to be sharing a lot of that over the. I don't actually know the exact time period, but over the not too distant future, you'll be hearing more from us. We have a live streamed show that we filmed, guys, which I'm really proud of because we have all these people who are asking us, come to X place. Usually it's some obscure place in America that like we'll never be able to get to in the next like couple of months because we can't even play a show down the road without lockdowns at the moment. So hopefully with this live stream, we'll put it out for people and do like a virtual live show. We filmed it in like a proper studio with like, I mean, it's still got that live feel. It's all like recorded and it's like all the rawness of like a live set, but like with nice production with the video. So we'll put that out for people and then it'll just be straight into new music. And like we've always got stuff kind of happening on our socials. We try to keep pretty busy where we can.
Yeah, nice. Have you watched any of the live streams for other bands recently? Yeah,
I have. I saw one for Hollow Front and Outline and Color. I meant to get tickets to the Under Oath one as well, but I think Code Orange did one early on as well on Twitch that was absolutely insane. So I've seen a couple of really good ones. So, yeah, I think it's kind of the future, right? Like that's
for sure. Like I watched both Under Oath. I watched the Define the Great Line and They're Only Chasing Safety ones. And I watched Fever 333s. And I watched Hollywood Undeads as well.
Wow, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Sick to say.
Yeah, they were good. They were really cool, man. I'd love to do one of those in the future, but also I'd love to just play a show, any show at the moment. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It'll feel like unrealistic. Like it won't feel real when music.
Yeah, I'm already nervous about it because I haven't been on stage in ages, let alone let alone the whole COVID thing. So
yeah.
Definitely let me know when your live stream is if you didn't already, because I want to tune in for it just to watch it for myself.
Yeah,
I'll send you guys a link. It's going to be just trying to get it all like, and it's crazy. Like this industry barely existed 2 years ago, and now it's probably we're going to keep seeing more and more of it, right? Especially as even in America, like there's tours rolling out, but I still think we're a little bit away from it being really consistent, especially in Australia. So I think this is a really cool way to have people have a live experience, still watching their favorite band perform. It's the next best thing, Yeah,
it is really cool. So, just quickly, I hope it catches on here as well because I've done a bit of live production and stuff like that. So to be able to go and work for stuff like that, it would be really cool as well. Yeah,
dude, for sure.
So if you were to tour, who would you want? Who would be the ultimate lineup?
So I'll go with Australian bands just because I feel like it's like we said before, Laura, we're definitely spoiled. But I think the opportunity to play with bands like Polaris, I think Make Them Suffer. You have to. We haven't had the chance to support them locally yet, but to be able to play with a band from Perth like that, those guys who have just absolutely killed it. We meant to play more shows with Savior, but for some anniversary shows, but they just kept getting cancelled. But we'd love to jump on the stage with those guys again, and maybe even I'm a huge fan of the band Ocean Sleeper from Victoria. I saw them support Atreyu, and I'm pretty cool with those guys, so I'd love to play more shows with them. And I guess to round it out, probably Thornhill. Thornhill are absolutely crushing it, so I think they'd be my first picks, but you could name another 10 and I'd be like, I'm in.
I'm in, yeah.
That's it.
If it was to pan out, you guys should do a Western takeover tour. It'd be sick. Just three Western Australian headlining bands across Australia. It'd be sick.
Dude, that you're onto something there. That's it. Let's tell Destroyer lines right now. We're trademarking.
And Codey, you mentioned you guys have done a bit of Patient 67. I've done a few things with some other American bigger artists as well.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
I think it's we've been in Perth this whole time, and I think one of the unique things about Perth is that we've always kind of had location as a con, not a pro, in the sense that we can't do the typical, let's jump in a van and drive X amount of hours. In Australia, we don't really have that as much as we do in the States anyway, right? In comparison, but especially not in Perth. So I think we've always sort of played with the mindset of trying to collaborate with other artists. And my influences growing up, I listened to a lot of American metalcore, listening to bands on Warped Tour and Soundwave, So I've always wanted to collaborate with artists from my favorite bands. And over time, just as we've written more and more songs, we've just had opportunities to reach out to them and make things happen. And it's been really cool because, like I said, you know, as we've seen with COVID, the opportunity to collaborate with artists has been really big. You know, it's a chance to sort of cross promote with other artists and have new fans and existing fans kind of come together. And I think it's really great. I mean, we've seen it with bands do it. There's so many bands doing it now. You know, I think it's sick.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
I heard your cover of Everywhere.
Yeah.
That was amazing, I have to say. Like, I'm more in this, like, I'm the one that's kind of like likes all different kinds of music.
Yeah.
And I was listening to it and I was like, this is freaking awesome. So what other covers would you love to do?
Oh, the list is long. Everywhere was actually up there. We really were keen to do that for ages. It's definitely more of like a poppier kind of like a fun, heavy cover, I call them. And the reason, we just like mixing it up, and we just don't have to take ourselves too seriously, you know, because I feel like guys, and you guys might be able to relate, who've written music, you can get so in the rabbit hole with this stuff, you know, how do I want it to sound? And you can just kind of get all tied up in your own head with it sometimes. At least I do anyway. So the covers were a good chance to just kind of cut loose. I think, Laura, if we were going to pick another cover to do, I'd love to do an Australian classic. And I know that might be really high risk and very low reward. But we get people asking us all the time to do I don't know, something from Silverchair or something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Let's pay homage to a classic Australian band.
Yeah, our old band did On a Night Like This from Kylie Minogue.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So that was pretty fun.
Hell yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Kylie Minogue might be an Australian artist, but she also, you know, draws the bridge to international stuff as well. So, you know, I think that's kind of a safe bet if you were going to go for an Australian cover as well. You know what I mean? So
I like your thinking. Get someone who's outside the Australian sphere and you know, a bit more known in other parts too with their sound and stuff as well. Yeah, I'd be open to anything. I'm always listening to suggestions. It's just finding the time to do them. All right,
And at least you were Australian to begin with. If you were American trying to do Australian classics, everyone in Australia would be like, "What are you doing?"
You can't do that. Come on.
I like playing acoustic and stuff as well. And it's funny you mentioned that because, in a fantasy project, I'd like to do an acoustic sort of pop punky-ish thing with Crowded House and Paul Kelly and some stuff
Dude. Hell
so,
yeah.
you know, there's a part of me that wants to pay homage, whatever, to Australian stuff before me. Australia has some pretty
Corey.
Codey.
You heard my ear. Corey, you heard my ear.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
Sorry.
And so I saw have you got a music video out for Damage Plan? I wasn't sure about that yet.
We didn't do. We have shot a music video, Tom, for a different song coming up, but we didn't do one for Damage Plan just because, well, A, they're very expensive, and B, because we just wanted to sort of roll this one out. You know, there's a chance to get new music out for people, but we will have more music videos to come. It won't be far away.
Yeah, awesome, man. Because I went to film school. I just got my diploma and shit. So I've got all this access to all these good cameras and good crew and lighting and stuff. So that's going to help our band a lot because we don't really have to pay for a music video, which is a bonus. So
that's a huge bonus. That's a huge bonus.
Yeah, that was kind of my intention to begin with of going to film school. Was I'll be able to make my own music videos, and because I'll make friends here, I'll be able to still hire out equipment and all that sort of stuff, so I can still do all that. So it is a bonus of having it because I know what music videos cost, and it's ridiculous. So
3 minutes of fun for no. I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, it's just the gear itself. You know, even that isn't. It's
the gear. The crew's time. That's what you're paying for. You know what I mean? It's not even the quality, anything. It's just, it is the gear, you know? So,
absolutely.
And the more money you're willing to spend, the better the quality. So you just know that that's a part of it, you know? So,
absolutely.
I noticed you guys are putting your marketing stuff out through Umbrella Theory now.
Yeah, they do our artwork at the moment. We've sort of tried, again, with a lot of stuff, we've sort of mixed it up a little bit, but they do our artwork designs. It's a guy called Chris who runs that. He's based in America, like a lot of the people we work with at the moment, and yeah, it's been good sort of workshopping ideas. I quite enjoy that part of the process. It's good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And do you try to come up with like cool, like with your artwork? Do you try to come up with like a meaning behind that artwork to go with the release? Yeah, so it's
try to, Tom. Yeah, definitely try and like have some linkage, and even if it's kind of an abstract concept, still try to like get something that you can kind of like the listener can interpret their own meaning behind it as well. I don't think it has to be like straight down the line, straightforward, but I think if you can get something that gets, I guess, just kind of matches the music, you know. I don't really, yeah. You don't want to go with something, you know.
I got one question to ask. I noticed that I'll try not to talk too loud because I don't want to screw up the audio. On your socials, you guys are always posting memes and stuff like that. You seem to be a meme king. Do you get more engagement out of your memes, or like, hey, come to our show? You know what I mean? Is it pretty evenly balanced? Or
I think we all know that the realities of social media are quite harsh in the sense that I think more broadly to the point, it's like if I'm in a band, like there's only so much you can post about your band, like really. So I think what we've kind of done is just use the memes as a chance to kind of just have a laugh with people. You know, usually we'll ask a question, see what they think about it. It's just a good way to engage people and sort of find out more about them. And I guess try not to take ourselves too seriously as well, Codey. And we'll always like, you know, push the band and talk about that, but it's kind of balancing it out with some like funny content as well, you know.
For sure. I'm probably too serious a lot of the time, so I could take a leaf out of your book and try.
Me too, though, man. It's been a challenge. It's just about like sort of move like and trying new things as well, and just being like, you know, let's mix it up a little bit. Yeah. And then the band stuff will always take priority, but just posting fun stuff as well in between.
Definitely.
Yeah, I try to be serious a lot of the time, and it just doesn't come out. I'm kind of the opposite. I've always been just down. As Chris D'Elia, one of my favorite comedians, says, I'm down for a silly goose time, and that's it.
That's the way to be, though. Like, just be yourself, right? Like, that's the thing with social media. Like, not even trying to like be. It's just about being authentic, and that's kind of what we've done. Is just like I'll reply to comments from people, just hear what people have to say, and just kind of have a laugh and have a joke. And if I'm in that mood, like that's cool. Like, I think people like seeing bands that they listen to just interact with them and just talk nonsense. I think that's fun.
I do try to, you know, like not take ourselves too seriously. Like I wasn't going to bring it up here, but if you look down the bottom here, this is my tag. I'm a drummer, 4 out of 10 drummer. I do try to, you know, I do try to keep it lighthearted. So
you're going to put mine up.
Oh yeah, Laura's is just spare tire.
That's yeah. You got to have it, man. You got to have a laugh, and that's the way.
And Codey's is just sexual maven.
Not self-proclaimed.
What a well-rounded group of tags. I'm here for it.
Yeah, exactly. You got to have a bit of like, you know, fun at your own expense if you can have fun at other people's expenses as well.
Absolutely.
So,
what else?
And yeah, so what? Now that you've said your Australian bands, I do have to ask, what's your dream band to play with from overseas? What would be like the number one if you were to get an email in your email inbox and it was like, we've got these 10 huge of your favorite bands that want to play with you, which one would you pick? That's kind of my question there.
Honestly, Tom, if I had to pick one right now, I'd probably have to say Ice Nine Kills, just because I'm a huge fan of those guys at the moment, what they're doing. I love their theatrics. I would love to just be on shows with them and see how they go about it. So I'd probably have to say them. Yeah, they're one of my favorites.
That's another one I want to ask. What was the last big show that you went to just as a Patreon?
Dude, probably Atreyu, man. It was like a couple of weeks before everything shut down. I saw them play. I mean, it wasn't like huge, but it was like, you know, a couple hundred people there. That was fun. That was a really cool show. A throwback for sure.
Would have been.
Yeah, that would have been a throwback. I used to listen to a lot of Atreyu myself.
Me too. It's good.
Our band got like pretty at the time. You know, with songs like Right Side of the Bed and those songs. That was the sort of the era that I really like listening to. And yeah, what else have you been doing with the band? What like do you guys do anything like go out together much? Do you guys do anything like in your spare time together, like, or is it all strictly writing and band work sort of thing?
No, we definitely try not to be too. We try to take ourselves pretty lightheartedly, like in between. Like we'll go out for dinner, chill. Like we were practicing every now and then because we weren't playing too many shows. We were practicing and then just going out to eat in between. So trying new spots around Perth. It's all pretty chilled out at the moment. And then just in between planning the new releases and going hard at that. So it's a good relationship with the boys. I'm pretty lucky.
Yeah,
That's
awesome.
The last guy we had on, Dan, was talking about how important it is to have family vibe in your band. So it's awesome that you guys can get a lot of stuff outside of it. I've hung out with people in other bands before where you haven't been able to do that, and we never really clicked.
If I get some talent, can I join your band?
We don't have a bass. We haven't had a bass player in a long time, Laura. So now's the chance. We'll just won't plug you in, and you can just stand on the side and just look like you're playing.
That would be amazing.
Are you just running bass backtrack for now, or what?
Yeah, we've done that for a couple of years now, Tom. Yeah, we don't use bass live. Well, we do use it, but we don't have like an actual bass player, and we just run it through a rig. Yeah.
So I am going to be your bass player.
You'll be the tightest bass player because every note's perfectly on point, so you can't go wrong.
I was going to say I can play the triangle.
And did you guys always run a backing track for like stuff? Have you always played to like clicks, or did you guys just play straight up like raw for a while? Or
we've always played to clicks, just because we've always run backing tracks, Tom. Yeah, so we've always done that. Not necessarily done it well, but we have always done that.
We should try and do that, Tomye.
Well, that's what we plan on doing with our band, and yeah, it's going to be new for all of us, I think, because in my previous bands, we've never had samples or things to do. And if we did, we'd kind of like improvise them with instruments live rather than backing tracks. But yeah, no, I just find that interesting with every band to ask, because every band has a different process of how they play live or what they do, so.
Definitely, man. There's no like, I don't think there's a right way to do it, like it just kind of depends on what works best to the band and how they get the best result, or what works best.
Yeah, exactly. And have you guys like had much of a lineup change or what?
We have over the years, I guess. We've had, it's been me, like I said, it's been me, Rory, and Declan for pretty much since 2017. So we've been pretty stable together. We've had like one drummer in that time. But even when we had Jules in the band, our previous drummer, we only ran as a 4-piece. So there hasn't really been much change in the last few years, which is good. It's good stability.
Yeah, that's exactly what you need as a band, that has a bit of stability. It's pretty hard when it's in and out members, because I know what it's like to have to get a new member in and then teach them everything, and dude, trying to get them up to the level that you guys need to be. So yeah, it's kind of like, I look at it like starting a band. The hardest process is the beginning, getting the members, writing the music, getting the band to a point where it's ready for public viewing, I guess, you know what I mean? And I find once you've done that, everything else comes pretty naturally, like the next, all the motions. Would you find that the same for you guys kind of thing?
Yeah, I think so, Tom. Yeah, like you said, it's definitely the building blocks first, and that, I guess, generally takes the most time, doesn't it? And then it's more about just ironing everything out as you go from there. It's definitely a process, right? Like doing music or any project like that is just it's like bit by bit,
Yeah.
When did you like go, okay, I can sing or I can scream? No, honestly, when did you sort of go, all right, or did someone say, you're pretty good?
I
think, how did that all come out?
I think, Laura, it's like we didn't. For me personally, like I wanted to play guitar when I was younger, and like I studied and stuff through secondary, like through high school, and then went to uni afterwards. And I never put the time into learning an instrument properly, just because I didn't commit to it essentially. But as you guys might know, like when you listen to a certain style of music or listen to a lot of metal, and this is the thing I think a lot of people probably don't necessarily know, is that if you listen to a lot of metal, chances are you can probably scream, because you sort of pick it up over time. And I think like I wanted to be in a band so badly, Laura, that I was like, well, what can I do? Well, I can't play guitar, can't play bass, can't play drums, but I can probably scream. I can get away with doing that. And I think just over time, just learned how to do it while in the band, and like kind of honed my voice. And the singing bit kind of came after that. Didn't really sing a lot until we did the Dua Lipa cover, and just kind of have been building from that just to give us an extra layer of versatility. Like Rory does a lot of the clean singing on the earlier stuff and on the new stuff too. So it just gives us a two vocalist approach, which I really like.
So you just gifted, and that's what you do.
No, I promise you, it's very much practice, and then just like slowly learning what not to do.
Wow.
It is.
You're very good. You're very good.
Thank you.
It is a lot of practice. I've been playing drums since I was 10, and there's a possum out my window. Sorry. I've been playing drums since I was 10, and like it's still a learning curve for me. Like I'm just started getting lessons with Dan Kirby, from the drummer from Bliss and Esso.
Oh wow, cool.
That's really cool, man. I thought, well, I keep offering me a chance to do that. I should take it on, even though I played drums over 22 years. It's something to keep my get new techniques and stuff like that. So like, what's your like thing of like learning new techniques? How do you go through that?
That's a great question, man. I think probably for me, it's just about listening to new music, kind of learning what other vocalists are doing, and finding new ways to kind of implement that into our writing and our process. I guess at band practice as well is a good chance to try out new things. That's my practice time, because you can't really just. I mean, I'm in a strata complex, so I can't really go yelling if I want to keep my lease where I'm staying. So it's definitely band practice is my go-to, and I think sometimes you can like just visualize things, and as you get more comfortable and confident with your skill, in my case, my voice is my instrument, you kind of learn how to use it in different ways.
Yeah, awesome. And there's a few questions that I like to ask that I'm going to start asking. This is a new thing I've wanted to ask, which is a few questions non-related to music, which is, one, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Shit, you're probably on the spot. Interstellar.
So are you a Christopher Nolan fan?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. And are you into superheroes? And if so, what's your favorite superhero?
Man, I probably have to go Spider-Man, which I know is very popular at the moment with all the new stuff coming out. So I'll go Spider-Man. Yeah.
The little last question I'd like to ask, it's not music related. Are you a gamer? Do you like gaming?
I do like gaming, man. I play a lot of NBA 2K, Uncharted, really basic, just straightforward games that I can just kind of turn off and play.
Uncharted 4 is my favorite PlayStation 4 game by far, man.
It is so good, man. Amazing game.
I'm playing NBA 2K every other day, so like no wonder that we're friends, man.
Dude, it's so good. I just
play Pokemon.
I do like Pokemon too, but I've been playing Pokemon Go still. I can't lie. It's good fun.
We could be friends on Pokemon Go.
Let's do it.
My son is obsessed with Pokemon, man. And,
I love it.
we go buy cards and we pull cards together, and his collection. Like I was buying him, $30, $40 Pokemon cards here and there. And I don't know, since COVID hit and the prices of Pokemon cards have gone up, like some of them are like 600%. And now his folder's worth like $6,500 or something like that. And he was carrying it around with him at school. And I'm like, you can't be carrying your folder around with you at school.
No, dude, put a lock on that thing. Stay away.
Yeah, and every time he pulls a new card, I'm like, add that to the pile. It's another $100 for your collection. So
goes up and down.
I didn't realize how into sport you were. I want to keep it quick because I know Tom and Laura probably don't care too much about sport. But you play NBA 2K. Which NBA team do you go for?
I'm a Cavaliers fan, so I like the Cavaliers.
Very nice, very nice. I go for the Knicks. So it's been 8 years of tumultuous pain for us.
Why wouldn't we and Tom like sport?
This is a music podcast,
Yeah, I'm not too much of a sport person, but you know what?
I don't do anything.
I do respect it, and I respect anything that anyone's into. Kind of thing, whatever is your whatever's your poison, go for it. You know what I mean? So,
Have you been to the stadium yet, man? How is it?
sorry, step back a bit, man.
Sorry. Optus Stadium. Have you been there yet?
Yeah, many times. Yeah.
Like to play the halftime, bro.
Dude, I tried. I put on Mark McGowan's page. I was like, where's the metalcore Mark? Come on. He didn't reply, but I put it out there.
Sorry for my audio, but thanks heaps for coming on, man. It's been rad to chat. I'm still here for it. Just, you can't hear me that well. So
That's all good, guys. I wanted to say thanks, for putting like a podcast like this together that does great work for like bands, like smaller bands like us. Like, appreciate the hell out of it, and we'll have to chat again soon when we get our new music out in the future.
Yeah, awesome, man. We've just started doing this podcast, but we feel like it's important that there's a podcast that fills the void of getting some people on that need the exposure, as well as getting people on that don't need the exposure. We want to kind of broaden, go everywhere. We want any artist, any thought to come on and talk to us about it. And when we got the chance to talk to you guys, we were super stoked.
Stoked. Yeah.
Thank you, Tom.
I do a bit of an intro thing at the start of this episode, but I'm pretty much saying that anyone that comes on the show wants to hang out with us is pretty much doing us a favor at this point. So, thanks heaps, brother.
Yeah.
No, anytime, Cody, anytime, Laura. Happy to be a part of it. It's been great.
Thanks heaps, man. And you enjoy the rest of your night. And
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We'll speak soon. Bye.
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 So that was our interview. I hope you all enjoyed it. This has been Loud, episode 3. We look forward to bringing you episode 4. We're going to start bringing you a lot of content over the next couple of weeks, just because we've got a few interviews coming up with some cool bands and stuff like that. So once again, I'm your host, Tomye West. This is my co-host, Codey, and the spare tire, Laura Jane.
Hello.
We'll see you next week, or close to next week. Love you all.
See ya.
Go the D's.
Ah.